It's time for Two Wild and Crazy Dads with your hosts, the Maestro and the Bronco. It's the show that talks about the important stuff in life. Let's start the show.
No, this is not Wayne's World. It is still Two Wild and Crazy Dads. But tonight we're talking about the 90s. Ain't that right?
I've been called a butthead, though, before, so...
I've been called a lot worse. Married life. Anyways, I'm sure I've been called even worse by my teens when I'm not in earshot. But, yeah, 90s, man. I was born in the 80s. I wasn't born in the 90s. You were born in the 80s too, right?
This is like peak for me, like teenage years. So every time I hear a song on the radio, like instantly I go back.
Yeah, I was born in 86, so like 90s, like as far back as I can remember is the beginning of the 90s. Like there are little flashes of things I remember from like, 89, 90, but all the shit I remember was 90s and above, like Wayne's World and the ever famous Beavis and Butthead. And not to discredit your shirt, because I spent a lot of time and a lot of blistered thumbs playing Mario in the 90s. That's for damn sure.
I beat the first one.
On regular Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like all the cheat codes and stuff, so there's a lot of that. There goes the TV. I don't even want to watch it anymore. So, I'm a Florida State fan, and just like many other times in the 90s, we're about to get upset. So, yeah, cool. Yeah, I played a lot of Mario. In fact, I still have my original Super Nintendo. Like, I got it back in like 92 or whatever when they came out with Mario World and Super Mario Kart. And somewhere I have Kirby and even Jeopardy and a whole bunch of other stuff. But
I only had the Nintendo, and then my best friend had a Sega, so we played that a lot.
See, I never really played a lot of Sega. I had the original Nintendo, which was funny because like I got it for Christmas or something, and I remember, again, I was really young, but I just remember flashes of my dad and my uncle sitting in the living room all night playing the original Mario World, like on original Nintendo, and like me getting up in the morning and they were still like playing like early in the morning. It was like 5 or something, like I don't even know. I was a kid. I just remember walking out into the living. I remember seeing them at night playing it, and I remember seeing them first thing in the morning playing. And I never really got a whole lot of chances until they got tired of it, even though it was mine. But yeah, that Super Nintendo, man, I still love playing it.
I had a neighborhood kid that had a Super Nintendo. He had King Griffey's baseball and some wrestling game.
Oh, I have the Mortal Kombat 2, which was like the best one out of all of them. I think I have Madden 99 or 98 too, something like that. God, that's awful. But oh man, many hours. I was an only child until I was 14. My mom and my dad both had kids at the same time, so I spent a lot of time by myself playing because I didn't have any siblings to hang out with. My good old controller.
My mom and dad used to get pissed. They used to my limit was like an hour. They'd be like, "Go outside and play."
Well, see, I'd go outside and play, but like I had friends that would spend time with their mom and time with their dad. So like when they weren't there, you know, because we lived in a neighborhood with like a bunch of condos, and I had certain friends that were around, but when they weren't, you know, I played video games. A lot of older people in that community, you know, we didn't really, there wasn't a whole, you know, community of children like mine have now. There's like a whole neighborhood of kids that they're always out with, and they have different groups of friends too. It's like its own little teen community.
That's crazy. We'd always play football or baseball every day after school.
Well, see now when when I got to high school was when my younger brother was born, like right as I was finishing 8th grade, and so we moved into the house that they still live in, and I had a neighbor who was there was one kid that was the same grade as me, one that was one ahead, then one street behind us was another kid that we went to school with, and then 2 streets over in the other direction was one of my buddies, and then I had 2 other friends that were like not far around the corner, so we were always hanging out. Like we were, one of my buddies had a basketball hoop in his cul-de-sac, so we were always going over to his house and playing basketball out there. Till we got cars. But I remember playing street football out there. I don't know, man. Probably like 8, 10 of us. Even my stepdad getting out there and playing. It was fun. And then I still played that Super Nintendo though.
I wish I would have kept my Sega. My friend gave me a Sega when I got my own place, and I don't have it anymore.
See, I never had a Sega, like ever. I never got into that. I was always like Nintendo won my heart early, and I was loyal. Like all these, you know, Apple people out there that just have their head so far up the Apple's ass that everything has to be Apple. My family, me and my wife are the odd people out. Everybody else in our family has iPhones. Mom, stepmom, stepdad, dad, brothers, friends, in-laws, all of them, everybody, iPhones, except us. Google
Yeah, I don't have
Pixel,
an iPhone
baby.
either.
Google Pixel.
Emma has one.
iPhone?
iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah, our oldest has one too. Grandparents gave it to him as a gift because they have them. Only Apple device in our house. See, we have 3 Rokus, 2 Chromecasts, 2 Roku TVs, and a Fire Stick that all work. We have Samsung device, some Walmart brand device, some other brand device, a couple other devices. I have my HP laptop and my Google Pixel, and guess what? Every single fucking one of them communicates together.
That's
with
pretty
Google.
cool.
I don't need to have just Google is enough, man. I don't need to have an iPhone with a Mac and you know all these other iPads and all these other Apple devices just for them to sync together. Like I'm not gonna pay all that money. I got all my shit for probably the same price that somebody pays for an Apple TV and an iPhone. I got all that devices and my phone and shit. Like I
We
just
all
don't
have
see the
Roku
appeal.
TVs.
Yeah. I remember when that first came out. But that was after the 90s. We got to go back to the 90s here. What was your TV situation in the 90s?
We had,
'Cause I
well,
remember watching them evolve.
we just had the Um, well, I don't know if it was 90s, but we'd have to give it up and change the channel. And then we were too poor to have cable, so my dad would climb the pole and hook it up to our TV. And then as I got older, we had a like small ass TV in our room.
Yeah, I I remember when my mom and dad were together, like again, back where my memories begin in the late, like early 90s, 90, 91, somewhere around there. I remember they had one of those TVs that had like, it was a big wooden chest basically with a TV screen in the middle of it, like a TV stand with a TV in it. Like, those old ones that had the shelf, the top that you could like put decorations and stuff on, and had like
Yeah.
little drawers to it and stuff. Compartment. Man. Yeah. I remember all that stuff. We had one of those, and it had the knobs, and the remote was like about that big, about that thick, and only had like 12 buttons on it. Power button, the channel button, the mute buttons, and then the number buttons, like that kind of stuff. And then I remember my dad got a newer TV that wasn't in that, and had a remote that was like bigger than a fucking Wonka bar, and it had a whole bunch of buttons on it, and the plate was metal, and you had to like mash the buttons sometimes because it was getting old. And I remember the first big screen. My mom and my stepdad got a big screen, and it was one of those like, it had a projector with inside of it, and the big box takes like two people to carry and one person to guide just to move it. Now it's like I can have, and that was like a 60-inch, like, whoa, now I got a damn 70-inch in the living room, whatever, that I'm holding up while my wife kind of guides it into the mount on the wall. Like I'm holding it up on my own, it was unheard of.
That's how ours is too.
I remember I had a TV. This was in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, but the TV was from the 90s. It was like a 32-inch, which was like one of the bigger ones, good size. And this shit had to have weighed like at least 300-400 pounds, easy. And me and my buddy were carrying it because we moved into an apartment on the third floor, and we were carrying it up. And he had an old football injury where his knee would like just kind of dislocate if he turned it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And as we're carrying this TV, and keep in mind this dude's like 6'6", like big dude, okay, and not like a big fat dude. He's just like a freaking tight end, okay. He was a tackle, offensive line, but he's holding this TV, and you heard it pop, and he's like, ugh, and then he just kind of like muscles one arm underneath it, takes his other hand and goes, pops it back in, and then helps me finish getting the TV upstairs. This thing was heavy. Like, holy shit. So, my TV, I had one in my room, and it was one of the ones that click, 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 click. You had the channels. It had channels, like 2 or 3 through 10 or something like that, and then like,
And then the UHF at the bottom.
Yes, I was just about to say you something. Yeah, and then the whole click, 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 the tiny clicks on the bottom one. And the channels, like, I don't know, here it was like 32, 28, 44. And you had to like click through a whole bunch to get to the one channel you wanted to watch with these big ass like bunny ear, antenna.
And by the time you got to it, there was a
kind of shit,
commercial on.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then you try to flip back to a different one, and that's now a
Yeah.
commercial. Yeah. And different channels, you had to maneuver the wires in different places. Like for channel 44, the antennas had to be like this. But then for channel 32, they had to be kind of crossed with this one a little more up. Stuff like that.
We used the paper rock scissor to see who had to stand up with the antenna to make sure it worked.
And you can't just stand up. Like you have to stand up, fix it, and then like step your hip because it got like waves off of your hands or something. Like you had to like step back and make sure, like slowly step away, like you're approaching a bear. This bear comes at you, and you like slowly step away, ease your hands down, and then if it stayed, you're like, all right, good. It didn't take much to interfere with those waves, airwaves.
Shit, we didn't have a video VCR till like '98.
When did DVDs they came out? I remember when I remember cassette tapes. I had cassette tapes, a whole bunch of them, like we
Yeah.
talked about last week with the CD player and stuff like that. Man, DVD players, DVDs.
I think they came out the early
Suddenly,
2000s.
suddenly you had a whole rack of CDs next to a whole rack of DVDs, both in this giant ladder stack of whatever. Yeah,
Now you just have to pay $10.99 a month to watch whatever fucking movie you want to watch.
exactly. All the shit that you had to like. What you remember? Channel 99, the
Yeah.
TV Guide channel that just scrolled the TV Guide. Yep, you sit there for like 5 fucking minutes trying to figure like to see what's on. Unless you had a TV Guide where you could just scroll through it real quick and see, you're sitting here like this waiting. It's like when you're playing a game on your phone and you have an ad, like you're waiting for the thing and you know what channels you want to watch. You want to see what's on Cartoon Network, which is like channel 58. But you also want to see what's on Disney Channel, which is like channel 40, and you want to see what's on this other channel. And they're all like, so you got to watch the
With
whole
some
damn thing.
elevator
Scroll.
music in the background.
And it was, I don't know about your, up in Colorado, but like it was always so much louder than all the other channels.
Yeah.
Right? Like you would go to that
Yeah.
channel and have to turn it down because that channel, and that I remember having those cable boxes where it was just like a black box with a little red light, whatever, and then the numbers of the channels, and it had two buttons, an up and a down, to where you can manually flip through the channels, and then you had a
Yeah.
remote with like, power channel, and then if you have one of the nice ones, you had last or return or whatever, where you could go back to the last channel.
Or even sitting there so long, the same ad fucking pops up.
Yes, yes, because they were on a rotation too.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, those. Oh, the TVs have certainly changed, just like the video games.
If you miss the episode, you're fucked because you might be able to see it again in the summer.
What? Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Must see TV Thursday night. Friends, Frasier, Seinfeld. I remember that because Thursday night at my house was pizza night. Every Thursday, Pizza Hut pizza, and we would sit there and eat our pizza with the big screen TV turned on to where we could see it, and it was easier to move the table than the TV. So it was angled to where we could see it, and we would eat our food and be on the couch ready to go at 8 o'clock for must see TV.
That's funny because I remember for me, Tuesday nights, ABC would have the Wonder Years, Roseanne,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
the Coach, and Doogie Howser.
Wings.
Yeah, Wings.
Yep, I remember all those shows.
Friends.
All right, here's another night for you. TGIF on
Oh
ABC.
yeah.
Sabrina and Boy Meets World and what was the other one?
Sabrina.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah.
She was on
Uh.
TGIF, and so was Boy Meets World, and then Step by Step.
Yeah.
Yep,
Family
we'd sit
Matters.
there and Family Matters. Yes, yes,
Full House.
yeah. We'd be lined up now,
Uh,
and then I even remember before all the streaming stuff, that shit started coming on Nick at Night.
Yo.
Like, this is a throwback show? Are you kidding me? Anyways, yeah, that was insane. Now, yeah, you don't even have to watch it. You watch it whenever you want. It's just like, this is the day we release it. You can watch it whenever you feel like it.
And then it stops where you left off.
Or they drop the entire season in one go.
Yeah.
I miss that, man. They don't do that as much anymore. Like, streaming services, a lot of them don't drop a whole season at once anymore. And even when
Oh
they do,
yeah.
it's like
Some of them.
part one.
Yeah.
Stranger Things. A lot of these shows have gone week to week. Now, I will say this was not the 90s, but there was one show that at least had me and a lot of people I know on that 90s schedule where when it came on, you were in front of that TV when it aired. You did not watch it the next day or anything like that. That was Game of Thrones.
That's funny. I've never seen it.
Oh man, such a good show. And every single Sunday at 10 o'clock, that TV was on HBO in a quiet room, ready to go. And of course, I got my wife into it. Like, I got her to watch it, and she like instantly loved it. But it was like right before the last season. So by the time we had caught up, it was nice for me because I got to rewatch everything before the first season or the last season. But basically, the last season, we finished her last season right before the final season started. Like, there was only a, I don't know, 2 week gap from her finishing the last episode of the previous season to catching up with the rest of us. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you just got to watch the whole series like it was some Stranger Things, whatever, and then just come sit down with me for the last 8 episodes. Too
That
much.
Stranger
Yeah.
Things shit. I'm gonna have to rewatch because I don't remember.
Exactly. That's another thing. All these damn gaps. You never had that in the 90s. In the 90s, they had a strict schedule. You
Yeah.
know, they had their fall lineup, they had their winter break, they came back in the spring, they finished their season, they had the summer awful stuff, they had the little breaks for the holidays. I used to get mad when the Simpsons weren't on because there was some stupid NASCAR race or something. At least that's how I felt as a kid. Now, as an adult, I'd still rather watch The Simpsons than NASCAR.
Oh, me too.
Ooh, let me drive fast in a circle going left for hours, a whole bunch of times. See who can do it faster.
No thanks.
Have fun, guys. I'd rather watch football,
Yeah.
a real sport, not just sitting in a car driving fast. It's a very dangerous sport. I'm not knocking NASCAR. A lot of popular NASCAR in the 90s, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Let's talk
What
about
about
90s.
90s music?
There was a lot of good 90s music. The whole grunge era was pretty good. There was a lot of alternative rock. You noticed a lot of bands that started doing that. I don't know, like fusion, like Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Korn, where they infuse the hip hop element with the rock.
Oh yeah.
New metal. That's what they call it. Yeah, I really like that stuff, man. I used to come home and be rocking out, and then taking the CDs out real quick before my parents got home because they didn't like it. They weren't all about the nookie.
What
Man, go ahead.
about the lingo in the 90s?
Totally rad, dude. Tubular.
Talk to the
I feel like,
hand.
oh god, yes. Oh man, I the WhatsApp commercials that came out.
Yeah.
You know what? All right, I can play a game on my phone, or I can watch a football game or whatever, and see the same damn ad over and over and over. There used to be some really, really good commercials, like funny commercials that you would see it and then talk about it to other people, and then they would have to like wait and hopefully see it sometime on TV because they heard it was funny, and then like the next day, oh, I saw that commercial you were talking about. That was hilarious. You know what I'm talking about? That's not, they don't do that anymore.
Who you calling a cutie queen? You liquor.
Yeah, Budweiser, they were the
Oh,
king of commercials for a
yeah.
while. The Budweiser
Bud
frogs and
wise.
the real
Yeah.
men of genius. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Those were like my favorite. I love the real men of genius. Oh, here's to you, Mr. Loud Talker. Whatever. There were so many good ones, man. But yeah, commercials. You didn't have a choice. That was like
No.
the mad dash to the bathroom because you couldn't pause it.
We had to hurry
You
up
wanted to
before the
watch it.
show started.
Exactly. And if you needed something, you like, it was always, oh, can I get a drink or can I whatever, or I want this. Yeah, just hang on for a commercial. And then as soon as it would go to commercial, it was like, go do whatever you got to do and come back. I mean, it's the same way now with, live sports, whatever, but like, you did that for shows. Now it's just like you come home and whenever you're ready, like, okay, honey, you ready to watch it? It aired 2 hours ago, but we're going to watch it now. We were
Yeah,
talking about
DVR a lot of
VCRs.
shit.
I was gonna say we were talking about VCRs and DVDs earlier. You remember when VCRs would record, like, first off you would have to, they're the originals where you had to record it, like you program it, whatever. I remember my mom programming it every day to record Days of Our Lives and Guiding Light. And then every night we would come home, they would get home from work, whatever, and my mom and my stepdad would sit there and watch those stupid ass shows. And I was, I got sucked into it too. I was wondering what Stefano was gonna do, next, whatever. I was all into it. Like, are we gonna start it now? Because, whatever. It was what was on.
I used
That's
to
how we
record
see.
wrestling, program wrestling with it, and I would do 5 minutes before, and 5 minutes after, in case I missed something.
Yes, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about, especially if you're recording shows that came on like Sunday night after football,
Yeah,
because some games would go into overtime and they would still air the regularly programmed show from the beginning, but it would start 20 minutes later. So you would have to like almost schedule it for, well, he disappeared, but you'd almost have to schedule it for like 30 minutes ahead, 30 minutes behind if it was coming after a football game or something. It was crazy. But you couldn't record two channels at the same time. Takes me back. Well, My co-host will be back momentarily. This message is brought to you by Beavis and Butthead and the oh so comical Wayne's World. Party time. Excellent. Oh man, there were some great movies in the 90s. Oh, I can't wait till he gets back on to talk about that. Anybody watching, I'm just going to go ahead and start throwing a few names out there for you to get his reaction. But obviously, Wayne's World, Bill and Ted, Wild Stallions, and of course, my favorite, Ninja Turtles. We'll have to talk about that too. But I mean, even today, there's so many things that they're bringing back today that were new and popular in the 90s. I mean, Ninja Turtles are still kicking. I know that was late 80s, but they really hit their stride and had all those movies come out in the 90s and just carried on. Like they're still coming out with movies now. They still have the shows and the action figures. Like they've lasted timeless, kind of like Bugs Bunny and Flintstones and stuff. But even them, they've kind of faded off. But the Ninja Turtles, they stay strong. They've made 3 Sonic movies. And there's probably going to be another one coming out before too long because Sonic the Hedgehog was such a big thing and a big influence on people. Now they make a video game, a show about a video game, and there's like fairly few that are actually successful. But I mean, not just the Ninja Turtles, like I said, Sonic, you also have Mario. My son is 3, and he loves Mario. He's obsessed with Mario. He even like he was saying, thanks to having everything on demand now, he even watches the cartoons from the early 90s, like the Mario and Luigi cartoons. Watches those and loves them. Loves the new movie. Thinks it's awesome. And my daughter, who's 5, was always wanting to be Princess Peach. And he's got a little Mario costume that he runs around in. I love it. I can't wait until they come out with another one. Because, got to get Yoshi involved. Yoshi was always like my favorite character. I hated to leave Yoshi behind. Hated. And if you play Super Mario World from the original, Super Nintendo, the SNES, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, they really were super. So if you play the game and you forgot or don't know, Blue Yoshi, all you need is a turtle shell in your mouth. It can be any color, and he'll fly. Same thing with the blue shell. Any Yoshi will fly. So, you definitely want to get those certain levels. You got to. But I always got sad when I had to lose Yoshi, like going into a castle and Mario hop off, and then go trotting into the castle, and Yoshi's just standing out there. And I'm like, man, you don't even get to watch me die, fall into the lava, or get hit with an axe, or one of those little pixelated awful things, or land on a little spiny, you never know what it was. But God, I miss the 90s. So much fun back then. And how can I not mention the TV shows? I mean, like we've talked about Seinfeld and stuff, but they had some great shows for kids. Salute Your Shorts, Hey Dude, what's that one? The Hidden Temple, Legend of the Hidden Temple, whatever. Double Dare, can't say that on TV. All that. My kids, they got all into like all of them got all into the Keenan and Kel stuff and loved the original Good Burger movie, and they get all into Jack Black because they found out he's Bowser and Steve in Minecraft apparently. But there were some great shows from the 90s. There were great cartoon shows too, like Rugrats, Hey Arnold, All Real Monsters. Nickelodeon like really dominated the kid game in the 90s. Like Disney, they had some good stuff. They put out some good movies. Pocahontas was good. The Lion King. I love The Lion King. I can't think of a movie that I watched more as a kid. I knew all the songs, could sing every word. I'm gonna be a mighty king, so enemies beware. Yeah, all about it. I even had the sing along CD, like the soundtrack sing along CD. I loved that movie. And I try so hard to get my son to be into it because he loves animals. I figure, oh, he'll love this. But it's not the movie he wants to watch all the time. Like he likes it when I put it on, but you know, that's that. And even special effects took a huge turn in the 90s, like practical effects. Jim Henson, puppeteering, Jurassic Park, some of the best practical effects to ever be done. Like those dinosaurs look so realistic. They, they look more realistic than Jurassic World CGI dinosaurs do. Like, yeah, you can make the CGI ones do more, but the storytelling and the mystery and the coming out of bushes and short glimpses of them, whatever, like the head or the body parts that move, that just the animatronics and the puppeteering is just amazing. Like ahead of its time. I honestly feel like it was better quality than the new ones. It's all CGI animation, and I work in that industry. I do that kind of stuff, so it I don't know. It just seems cheesy. I've always been a big fan of practical effects and lighting, and you know, making things look like they should, not just using a computer. It's I would rather be on a practical effects set, like helping build sets and creative, things than to be stuck sitting behind a computer. But it is what it is. Got to make a living. Uh, it's amazing. Even the Gremlins movies, those might have been the '80s, but the Gremlin movies, little puppets, they seem cheesy now, but back then, it was good. That movie terrified me as a kid. I was afraid to use the toilet for a long time. Like I always checked when I was sitting down because of the scene at the carnival where there was a gremlin in the toilet and the guy sits down without looking. Like, yeah, that kind of stuff bugged me, creeped me out. But it wasn't just good kids movies either. I mean, you still had some great adult blockbuster hits. Independence Day. Independence Day. I remember when that movie came out. There was so much hype. There was so much, you know, excitement for that movie that people were lined up at the theater in my smaller town. You would have people lined up. There would be a little rope going into the theater. People would line up over an hour before the movie started. You'd be going into the theater, and there would be people there ready to get in line to be good seats to see this movie. And it came out a couple days before Independence Day, and I just remember every day people being lined up ready to watch it because there was so much hype, so much promotion, so much like build up, and didn't really let down. It was a great movie. I mean, it was great storyline, great cast, well executed, good effects, like just all around good movie. And then another Armageddon. Armageddon was probably one of my favorite movies to ever do it or to ever be. It's great soundtrack, great cast, great story, everything about it. I love that movie. Forrest Gump, Another classic from the 90s. Like, if these things aren't making you go, oh man, I remember that. I remember Braveheart movie was so long that it couldn't fit on one VHS. And when you purchase the movie, or when you watch it, whatever, it was a 2 set, and you had to watch however much, and then when it stopped, you had to like take it out and put in the second tape and finish watching it, like the B side of a CD, but instead of different songs, it was all just the same damn movie. There were other movies like that that were too long for VHS, but majority of them weren't. And I was really hoping to talk about this with him, but good old rentals. Blockbuster Video. Every Friday night, we would go to Blockbuster Video or one of the similar, mom and pop movie rental stores, and we would get movies, and typically stop somewhere and get something, KFC or something like that on the way home. And we'd always get 2 movies, 2 VHS with the pop open things. Be kind, please rewind. But yeah, every Friday, going up to Blockbuster, picking out, or like I said, the other movie theater, picking out some movies. My mom and my stepdad always got one. Same thing when I was with my dad, he'd always get one for him, and I would get to pick one for myself. I would get, some kids movie. I remember getting like Three Ninjas, and just the movies that I didn't get to see in theaters. I was watching them on VHS, and you had it for the weekend, 2-day rental. We had to have it back by Sunday at noon. And I would always get a Super Nintendo game that I could play all weekend long and give it back. And then if I really wanted, like I really liked the game and wanted to do it again, I could rent it again. But I didn't have to buy it because they were expensive. I mean, even for today's standards, like $60 for a game, that can be pretty pricey. Especially when, you're a kid and you don't have money for that. So renting for $2.99 for the weekend, that was great. I always got some good games too, but so much just simpler times, right? Simpler times. But were they? Because there was still a lot of crazy stuff going on in the news and politics and everything. Clinton with his whole scandal, the OJ trial, Rodney King. Like there was a lot of big things going on back then that weren't just all the fun pop culture. The whole East Coast West Coast rivalry with hip hop. You had Tupac and Biggie both getting murdered. You have there was a lot of that stuff. Some Woodstock 1999 was a shit show, but there was also a lot of great comedy that came out of the 90s. Major Payne, Cool Runnings. I just, there's so many more that I'm not even thinking of, like the Ninja Turtles, the Wayne's Worlds, just too many good ones to think of. But a lot of those great movies. Oh, Adam Sandler, Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. He had a lot of great ones too. Chris Farley, comedy genius. I think him and David Spade were the perfect pair, and they made so many great movies. And if you notice in the trend here, it's because a lot of these guys all came from Saturday Night Live, including Wayne, aka Austin Powers, aka the Grinch, aka Cat in the Hat, aka Shrek. continue on. I love Mike Myers, but yeah, it just Mike and the Saturday Night Live crew with, you know, Sandler, Farley, Spade, Schneider, all those, just amazing cast. And they all went off to be successful on their own. They all had, you know, movies and shows and careers, and really thrived from, you know, that. And then you had In Living Color, which was just absolutely hilarious. It was a different take on SNL. I mean, it was similar to SNL, but it was just like, I don't know, a different culture, I guess. And that gave us all the Wayans brothers, but it also gave us Jim Carrey, aka Ace Ventura. You know, it's just a lot of 90s comedy movies. A lot of them came from sketch comedy comedians who got to go out there and be funny and have bits that would succeed into more powerful bits, or movies. Uh, it was overall, media wise, in my opinion, music, TV, movies, you know, they hit the mark on all of those. And of all ages, of all genres, I mean, there were some great suspense and horror movies. There were some great crime dramas and thrillers. You know, it's just, it's too much to even think about. I would have to do an episode for each one of these categories. I mean, good grief, if I were to start diving deep into these, it would just be just I, we wouldn't have time. Like, I couldn't even get started on that. But it would appear as though my co-host is not making a swift or speedy recovery, nor has he texted me. So I'm going to bid you all adieu and see you next Friday night, right back here, same time, same channel. And we'll let you know what we're talking about. Maybe we'll pick back up on this 90s conversation, because we didn't really get to talk about a lot of stuff. I just threw a bunch of nostalgia vomit at you there, and that was that. But haha, what's up, brother Everett? What's up? What's up? Yes, of course, the Canadian comedy, which is not Kids in the Hall, Letterkenny, right? That's the one. But I'm gonna say goodbye to the audience. And Ev, I'm gonna send you a link in a minute if you want to come hang out. Good night to everyone out there watching on YouTube land, and we'll catch